folks. Well, the Leafs couldn't go undefeated in 2022, could they? No, they couldn't. Tough loss against a very good team. We're going to bring it all down for you right here on the OZone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. That's Coach. That's Katie. I'm the Devo. And we're here to talk all things Leafs. Let's get into it, shall we? The Leafs got out to an early lead. Looked pretty good for a moment against a very hot and talented team. They couldn't hold on for the win. They got the point, but couldn't hold on for the win. KD, what'd you see?
I thought they played fine early. They ran out of gas. I don't know if it was legs, altitude, smaller or depleted lineup, but these are going to happen. It's against a very good team playing at home who's very good at home. There's a few things I did like. I do like the fact Matthews carrying a line with people on his, just throwing two wingers on his back and being the best guy out there. He was the best guy on both teams. He's fantastic. Mm-hmm. And that's a great sign. Adam Marner can't hurt, but great to know he can be like a Sid Crosby, throw anyone on his line. He's going to be great.
Yep.
I was pleased with one play on the power play. Again, we saw a little bit of strong side wingers, which, I'm going to beat a dead cat. I hate it. But I did like power play 2. They used that play down low to Simmons. He jammed the net with Richie going hard. They got a goal out of it. So if you're going to play that strong side, that play off the wing down to the deep man is available. You just have to turn around and jam the net and get lots of traffic there. They did. They scored. It was glorious. But I still think you could do that play with the wingers flip.
Yeah, great points, KD. Coach, what'd you see?
Here's what I don't like, Kev. We just lost all our subscribers in Cole Harbor. First off, you're saying Matthews is great, not McKinnon. Secondly, you compare him to Sid? Oh.
Sorry.
See you later, yeah. Mr. or Mrs. whoever you are from Cole Harbor. They're gone. Yeah. Anyway, I like Kerfoot. Kerfoot's been great for a long time. He was good on Matthews' line, too. He's got a really good streak going. I think 8 points in his last 3 or 4 games. I like him. Like the fact that you can move him up and down the lineup. Campbell was great. I know he gave up 5, but there were some high-quality chances there. He is playing well. And you got to love that guy afterwards. His comments were, if I play up to my standards, we win that game. His standards. He faced 51 shots.
Yeah.
What a great teammate that guy must be. And then Keefe. I like Keefe for 2 reasons. One, he played 4 lines as best he could, even though we were getting caved in the last half of that game. Okay? Right. So here's why I like that. It's not a playoff game, right? It's not a division game. It's a standard Saturday in January against a non-divisional foe. You got to find out what you have in your bottom 6. Now, we didn't like what we found out, but, you can't – Kyle Clifford's out there. He gives the puck away. So be it. Now you know he can't play against that line. It's okay. Right. And I also liked in his postgame that he was positive. Okay, we got a point. I like that we got a point because he saw how the second half of that game went. Let's face it, guys. Going in, we would have taken a point out of that before we knew how we were going to start. That's a hot team in the altitude. We would have taken the point, so we got the point. Let's not overreact. And this is coming from a Leaf fan of 53 years. I'm all about the angst, but I don't have much angst about this one. I liked it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did really like I thought that press conference with Keefe was pretty interesting, actually, how he really sort of said it's hard for him not to take anything but positive out of that loss. You don't normally hear coaches say that. Anyways, I love that Matthews broke out of his sort of mini slump, let's call it. He certainly had chances to score more than the 2 he got. He was everywhere that night. Soup was great as well, as Coach said. Gave up 5 goals, but, I mean, that could have been – that game could have got away from the Leafs way faster than it did. Yeah. He held them in it, really. In the third period, the Leafs were just hanging on. If it wasn't for him, they definitely wouldn't have got the point. And then I have to say this, it pains me to do it because I'm going to be circling around on the backside of this podcast, but Richie played his best game as a Leaf. Richie played his best 57 minutes as a Leaf. Until that cross-check with 3 minutes to go at the end of the game. Coach, what didn't you like? Let's check that out.
Well, obviously I didn't like losing. Up 4-1. I'd like to figure out a way to hang on there, and we couldn't. 17-0 going into that game when the Leafs have held the lead after 2 periods. So you're going to lose some games like that. You're going to win some games like that, too, with our firepower. But I didn't love the loss. Right. We were gassed. We've all talked about it. No need to we'll play on that too much. But here's another thing I didn't like. So, yeah, Marner and Engvall, they're back in Toronto. They have the COVID still. So they're going to be out for Tuesday as well, because I think Tuesday's the day they could clear. But I didn't like Kasha not playing. And this was supposed to be, he tweaked something working out in between games. They're just holding him out for precautionary reasons. It's feeling a little bit like Marner leaving practice, and it's not that big a deal. We're going to hold him out for a game. And then he went on the IR. Kasha's an important part of this team. When we're all stacked, he's part of a dominant third line. So I don't like that he's still out. Fingers crossed that he's going to play Tuesday in Vegas.
Right. Yeah, he skated today. And they interviewed. He was very tight-lipped about how he hurt himself. He wouldn't talk about it.
He's scared of spiders. I'm going to point out one little thing that we noticed that last year a bit and the year before. It's not a huge deal, but the management of Matthews at the end of games going into overtime is something that is a little bit noticeable. The Leafs were only about 50-50 last year in overtime. And so far, I think they're about the same so far this year. And if you notice, a lot of times they lose, they have their big guys, especially number 34, and he is exhausted at the end of a shift. And he's played the last minute and a half of the regular time. So he's running off double shifting extended shifts. And in Colorado, it was his guy. He got dragged out to the blue line and he got beaten on a give and go. And it happens actually a lot. So they got to be a little better. I get trying to get him on to win in regulation. I get having to get him on in overtime. You need him there. He is your best guy, one of the best goal scorers in the planet, if not the best. But you got to manage that time better, because it shows time and time again how many times they've lost because he's out there too tired. Yeah. So they got to figure out. I'd rather have him play less and give up a chance that maybe you don't score right away, and having him be totally fresh. Because I bet you a fresh Matthews ends more overtime games than a tired.
Yeah. It was. It's a good point. It was a little bit of a tough ending, though. If you recall, with about 3 minutes to go, and I'm going to get into this in a second, you take a bad penalty, and then 20 seconds later, Kadri cross-checks your best penalty killer in the back of the head, and they both go off for coincidental minors, coincidentally. And so you're killing a penalty at the end of the game, and when you go back even strike, you got to kind of put your top dog out there, because he hasn't been on the ice for the last couple minutes killing that penalty, right? So it's just situationally, I think things really stacked up against them there. Look, had they not had a call on Brody for getting cross-checked in the back of the head, maybe he scores in regulation, and you have a power play.
I think it's simply I love the fact he ends the game. I love it. But it just means he doesn't start overtime. Yeah. You have lots of skaters, a lot of good players. I would love to put a check-in line even first against their top guy. Right. Clear that out, and then put your second guy in after.
If we got all our guys, then maybe. But there are only 4 or 5 forwards on our roster in that game that could play against McKinnon. Right?
I get it. But this is not the first time it's happened.
No, it's true.
This has happened.
He had to play that guy like it's in beer league. He can't go to the point. Yeah. Sag way off him. Yeah.
Right? He should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the thing about 3-on-3, right? No one's ever happy with the goals that are scored against you. Because it's always the same way, right? Like, You got your best guy in the world going in on a breakaway.
Yeah.
He shoots, trying to pick the corner. He misses the net. It rattles around. It comes back the other way, and it's a goal. It's every time, right? Yeah. You live by the sword, die by the sword in the 3-on-3. Anyways, I'll just jump in here. The COVID things, moving guys around, I think really hurt them with the lineup, particularly playing up in the thin air in Colorado. I think, obviously having a guy like Marner out hurts, but I think we really noticed having Cachet and Engvall both out. And all of a sudden the Leafs don't really have a discernible third or fourth line. And when you're playing in the thin air, it just wiped them out. They were done by the end of the game. And again, I have to say it, but that cross-check, that interference call that he took in the last 3 minutes by Ritchie, I cannot understand why he would sabotage such a great performance for him.
It was as if Keefe is sitting there on the bench and saying, Nick, you're playing great. It's your best game since you've been here. And he goes, hold my beer.
Absolutely. All right, well let's get after it here. We're going to continue on this road trip. It doesn't get any easier. Heading into Vegas, it gets a bit more exciting because I think, Coach, you're going to be there, maybe for the next two. Yeah. So what's going to happen, Coach?
Mrs. Coach and I are heading to the next two. We're heading to Vegas tomorrow night, and then Arizona the day after, in lovely Glendale. So we're going to sweep the next two. I'm going to call a 5-2 win against Vegas. I think Campbell plays that one. It seems like it's lining up. Campbell plays, and then maybe Mrazek the following night. I will also predict that I'm not going to have a drink in a nightclub with Tiger Woods in Vegas. I did in 2009, which is a story I'm not sure we have time for. But it was just before he got busted when his wife took the 9-iron to the Escalade, and The story is spectacular. So perhaps after we celebrate this win, we'll come back and I'll tell you that story. I did have a drink with them, and yes, he was philandering that night. I can guarantee that too. So maybe we'll tee it up. And those of you that are subscribers that have kids, perhaps let them know maybe to take the next one off.
Right. All right, Katie, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, before we get to Ozone After Dark, I think we have. I like getting Campbell back in there. He didn't like his game, and just knowing from my own experience, when your goalie is chomping at the bit to get him in there. So I would have actually liked to play tonight, but give him tomorrow. He'll be ready to go and raring. Vegas is they're down. They're some of their best guys too. So I think it does get a little easier from where they were. So I'd like the Leafs to win this game. I think Campbell will be really fired up. I think Matthews is playing great too. So I do like. I'm going to call it for a little tighter. Call it 4-2 Leafs. I think Matthews scores, and I'm going to say. I like what Simmons was doing. With that power play, I would give him the DKI of last game. I thought that was a great play down low, so I'd like to see that going. And then I think going into Phoenix, I think they win that fairly easy. I think Mrazek has a great game. I think they beat Phoenix 5-1. Mrazek looks solid, and Leafs roll over them, have a couple power play goals, and we come back home on a high note.
Yeah, okay, great call. You're calling both games. I'll try to do the same. I think the Leafs' depth is getting tested with Marner out, Cachet and Engvall out, but I think they're going to have Cachet back at least for one of these games, and that's going to certainly help the third and fourth line settle things down a little bit and put some regular bodies back in. It looks like Spezza's going to be playing with Clifford and Ritchie tomorrow night, so that's tough. But that said, I'm going to call a tighter game, 3-1 win by the Leafs. Spezza gets one, probably on the second power play. I'm going to go with Cachet getting one and a 4-1 win against Arizona.
All right.
Okay, there you have it. Like the video, folks. Share the video. Subscribe to the video. We love to have you. You love coming back. Right here